Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition, go away, of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. That go away was not directed towards you, it was directed towards the replay bar. Alright, so it's going to be Sharp versus Bisu here for the Patreon edition of Brood War for the week of April the 15th. It's going to be the bottom left-hand corner. It's going to be Bisu, the yellow Protoss player under his well-named Smurf name, Only Star. And in the top left, it is the excellent Terran player, Sharp, playing under his real name, Sharp. Anywho, what are we doing here today? Well, let's go ahead. And for people who are supporting me on patreon.com/FalconPaladin for at least $1 a month, you're seeing this the week of April the 15th. If you're not seeing this then, and it's instead closer to like May, then hey, happy May, everybody. I hope May is a better month than April has been. Yeah, I'm casting this on April 11th, and yeah, the coronavirus maybe is petering out, but I hope that will continue trending downward. Infection rates down, death rates down, maybe sending a few more people back to work so the economy can recover. This year has been a little bit, you know, weird and a little bit stressful, I want to say. And I just hope that the rest of 2020 can be a little bit more calm. That is my hope. Anyway, hit that like button if you're excited for Bisu versus Sharp. Holy smokes. Who's not? Who's not excited for Bisu versus Sharp? Alright, look. So this is what we've seen in the games that I've cast on my channel and the games that have been played in Brood War in recent times. If you want to beat a Terran player, if you're Protoss, you can't let them get up to 30 tanks. Can't let them show up in the middle of the map and keep creeping towards your bases and kill you. You need to expand a bunch. Number one, you need to attack into tank lines when there are only 10 tanks or 5 tanks instead of 30. Yes, you will lose Dragoons. Yes, you will lose Zealots. But if you keep that tank count low, you can handle it. You can. It's so much better for you in the long run. So I'd love to see Bisu get up to like 2 or 3 or 4 bases here in the first 5 minutes. I think that'd be beautiful from him. I'm not sure that he will, necessarily, but that's how we've seen it done. We saw Light when he off-raced versus Terran Flash. Not just anybody. When Light, the Protoss player... no, the Terran player, rather, off-raced as Protoss versus Flash, who is Flash. That's what he did. It was on Fighting Spirit. I want to say he had 5 bases in the first 10 minutes. It was awesome. And he just kept tossing Dragoons over and over into the tank line of Flash and just keeping that tank count as low as Protossly possible. Now, on the other hand, you got to make sure that Vultures aren't sneaking into your bases and killing all your probes, because that's exactly what the Terran player is going to be doing for the majority of the game. You're going to want to get Arbiters with Stasis. You're going to want to recall. You definitely want to research Stasis and Stasis groups of tanks. If you're trying to stasis a group of 30 tanks, you're not going to stasis enough of them to make a difference. You're just not. You're still going to lose. We've seen this time and time again. If you stasis a group of 15 tanks, yes, that makes enough of a difference to cause problems for the Terran and actually wipe them out. So we'll see. We'll see if Bisu follows that particular blueprint or not. I imagine he will. I'll be shocked if he just allows Sharp to sit up here, macro his face off, which again, he's extremely capable of doing. What I like here too is that going for the factory, not going for the quick expand, which means that any attempt for Dragoon harass is going to be negated, because there will be either Spider Mines out, yep, Spider Mines on the way, or there will be Siege Mode, and Dragoons hate both of those things, especially if they don't have detection and there are Spider Mines. So you delay your expansion a bit, but you don't have to deal with the Dragoon harassment with Singularity Charge, which we went for anyway. Bisu went for that anyway. I like these Marines. Do they sneak up here to try to get on the backside of this Dragoon? They can kill this. Oh, man. If they cut off this avenue of attack... Hold on! Oh, they let it go. They had it, and they let it go. I think if those Marines come around, kind of cover this area, that Dragoon gets stuck and has to go up and around and dies. But instead, they let him go. They gave him an avenue. They called it good. So Bisu knows, all right, I have some Dragoons out, but there's already tank. And there's already Spider Mines, and it's just not going to... Oh, he sees the Spider Mine going down and can't get it, though. It's down. It's injured, but it's down. And I think Bisu recognizes, okay, there's going to be no early pressure here at all. There's really not much I can do running around blind. Although, that Vulture dying would be... Oh, nice angle. Disgusting angle there from Bisu. From the high ground to the low ground over this dead space. God, it's so stupid good. So stupid good. See, this is where the Vulture stuff happens. They don't have speed yet, but they do have Spider Mines, which means they're dangerous, at least in one way. Spider Mine goes down, but 2 shots means it's dead. Now, this is where I'd like to see Bisu take a third. It's probably third time for you in about 5 minutes, maybe a fourth, but Spider Mine preventing that from happening until you have detection, which Observatory out and Observer on the way. Observator on the way. Yeah, this is proving to be a pretty good match. I gotta say, Sharp is one of those Terran players who can definitely take down Bisu. He's on the list. His APM is around 300 now. Bisu's hitting at 350. Third CC on the way. So this is interesting. Sharp is going to expand here. Going to try to turtle up on at least 3 bases. Maybe try to take a 4th at the 12 o'clock here. We'll see if Bisu can do anything to slow that down or possibly stop it. I'd love to see a robotics facility. Like Reaver drops would be so satisfying. But I don't think those are necessarily in the cards. At least not this early. Yeah, look how late Siege Mode, or Siege Tech, has been delayed here from Sharp. He's not worried about it. He's like, we're just going to make a bunch of SCBs. We're going to get a third base. There's really not much that Bisu's going to do to try to kill me, especially because the third base is on the way right now from the Protoss player. I like there is a bit of a wall here. So if there are a bunch of Vultures that try to jump in here at once, you just toss down a pylon and call it good. Or just body block it with Dragoons. So I'm not sure the Vultures have been all that cost efficient in the early bits of this match to be looking at it. I'm not sure any probes have died. A lot of Vultures have died, and I'm not sure if any Dragoons have actually died to Spider Mine fire either here. So strangely enough, that's what it feels like is going on. Yeah, Sharp's got a build. He's doing it. His tank count is coming out. First sound of a siege tank going into siege mode is there. Tossing up some missile turrets just so observers can't come in and park on top of this whole darn thing and give perfect vision to Bisu. This is one of those situations where I kind of feel like he needs to go. It's not great timing. I'll give you that. He doesn't have a huge army, but maybe just harassing the third base. And if the tanks try to come in here unsieged, he can get something done. He's in a position to make a choice here, and that's why Bisu is one of the best players of all time, the best Protoss player of all time for StarCraft. Trying to, there you go. That's pretty good. Getting some shots off on this command center, maybe forcing it to lift. I mean, these guys, they don't have attack upgrades, but they hit pretty hard versus buildings. And there's that siege sound, and just very careful. Like a lesser Terran player would have unsieged his tanks and tried to move them up here. And I think the Dragoons maybe jump on those guys and at least take down 1 or 2 tanks. But sieging the one, unsieging it, moving it up into range to cover this area here. Beautiful. Just great stuff from Sharp. I'm telling you, this guy's good. Sharp is good at this game. He's getting +1 attack for his mech, obviously. Getting infantry armor and attack would not be the greatest idea at all at this stage of the game. And there you go. So 8 minutes. We got 4 bases. Still time to take 1 more if you want to, Bisu. I believe in you. I believe in you here. Out macro that Terran player. Make all the Dragoons in the known world. Start making Zealots when you really want to start breaking tank lines and getting them shuttles in there to do them Zealot drops. All of the pieces are coming into play right now. That's a Templar Archives and a Stargate. We're going to see the Arbiters here sub 10 minutes, I think. At least we'll have the tech for it. One of my favorite Protoss tracks right here in parts. Just the solid bass line, the stately melody just flowing over ya. Protoss is regal. Protoss is strong. Protoss is proud. That's what the music says to me, and it always has. It really does feel like you're just hanging out with an ancient race of warriors. They're not building movie theaters and bars down here. They're building war. They're building gateways to produce more warrior-like units here. They're gathering resources to kill Terrans. Like, that's what this is. This is not fun time. I wonder what leisure is like for Protoss. We never see that. Nice vulture attack, though. A little bit slow to react to that was Bisu, but that's okay. Look at that. Several probes going down. Bam, bam, bam. Taking it down to 63 probes, and it's actually even on worker count right now. For both these players, that was a nice hit from Sharp. Bisu a little bit, again, late on the response, but might be okay here. Another vulture down, and again, just overall, I think the trades have been better for Bisu. He is up 152 to 119 total supply. Vultures trying to go for that same trick again, and they do get 2 probes, maybe 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 probes, and the vultures get out with their lives. That was a nice engagement from the Terran player. And Sharp has a better economy than Bisu does right now, and he's on his 4th base. So he's keeping even with base count. He has a better SCV count than there are probes on the map right now. And Bisu needs to make something happen here. This tank count is getting a little bit scary. We got 4 there that are sieged. You have 8 here that are unsieged. That's 12. And he is producing additional factories. He's getting Charon boosters. Spider-Mine's getting cleared out thanks to this observer. That might have actually... Nope, didn't explode on that zealot at all, did it? Nope. Absolutely not. I keep thinking this is an arbiter, but I don't think we're there yet. Do we have arbiters? There's one. Oh, no, we have one out. Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll try to watch for recalls. Yellow a bit easier to see on this map than other colors would be. Vultures coming on into that south base again. Going back to the well, but again, I'm not sure accomplishing a whole lot there. It's still 57-58 workers here for Bisu. He's moving up with his Dragoons and his Zealots. He's got +1 attack for his boys. +1 attack is done for the mech here for Sharp as well. Ow. Brutal play there. Yeah, the Spider Mines are really... If Terran didn't have Spider Mines, I think they just die to Protoss in every situation. So just a core important part of the Terran army for offense and for defense here, but usually defense. It's 195 to 162, and Bisu decides it is time to go. He's absolutely going for it here. Nice stasis on those tanks. Takes 5 of the tanks out of it. But there are still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them firing from distance right now. Zealot's trying to get on top of the tanks, but the Vulture count and even the Marines are part of the party here. Doing some Zealot drops, some Zealot bombing onto the tanks, but I still think these tanks down low are doing a lot of work right now. Can they actually hold this off? Missile turret here providing important detection. Scanner sweep coming in here anyway. That base looks like it might go down. Zealots trying to jump on top of these tanks. They are wiped out in the southern section here. These guys are going to come out of stasis here in about 10 or 15 seconds. Does Bisu want to stick around for that? I don't know that he does. The Vultures are in the mix, trying to do what they can. Shoving away the Dragoons, and yes, the tanks come out of stasis. Trying to take down that armory. Can they get it? No! 40 HP on that armory and being repaired. That upgrade is going to finish here. That is vehicle armor. And wow, what an attack from Bisu. Again, he lost a ton of Zealots and a ton of Dragoons. But guess how many tanks are left? 4. Well, okay. 4 plus these. 9. There are 9 tanks left from the 15, 16, 17 that he had previously. It was a worth it style attack out of Bisu. It was cost efficient. Well, it looks like he's wanted to expand on this right side, but Vulture preventing that in the bottom right, and that natural expansion for the bottom right spawn is actually pretty Spider-Mind up there as well. So we're going to build... cannon. Beautiful. I like the cannon idea here, but Vultures are really good at shutting down warping in buildings. Look at how fast... Look how fast they take down HP on warping in buildings. That's great. That's really good stuff. I keep thinking you're a guy... First science vessel production has begun here from Sharp 2. Got to get that EMP upgrade, which is being researched because Sharp is good at this game. And we got ourselves some orbiters. Recognizing that really nothing in the army that's out on the field right now can shoot up for Sharp. So arbiters are going to have a wonderful time just kind of moving around, keeping tabs on things, shooting at stuff on the ground they can't shoot back. It's always a good time, if you ask me. There you go. So finally clearing out this bottom right-hand base so Bisu can expand a couple times. He has taken this mineral-only base here, so he's keeping ahead. Oh, observer sniped down there by a missile turret. Keeping ahead economically, he's brought his worker count back up to 67 after losing several of them in those vulture attacks recently. Alright, so Bisu has map control. Outside of this one group of spider mines, which is Zealot is kind of clearing out single-handedly there. It's a lot of yellow and really not much red here. Tank count is getting beefed back up. What? Where did you come from? Alright, so it's the recall into the main base. Oh, Sharp going after the science facility is such a great target here. +2 attack on those Dragoons. The Zealot's getting shots off as well. The starport. If the starport goes down and the science facility, then that means he has to rebuild that tech to make more science vessels. What a snipe from Bisu. Oh, he does get the starport. Man, this is not your average Protoss player's recall. No, sir. The average Protoss player we've seen on this channel would recall in, maybe kill a couple supply depots, and then lose the entire army. Instead, Bisu snipes very important technology. He forces the Terran player to rebuild his starport and rebuild he's got a control tower, and then rebuild the science facility in order to restart production on science vessels. EMPs no more. That was good. That was a great recall. I don't know where that arbiter came from. It must have snuck along this top side where there isn't any anti-air. I mean, there is now, but there wasn't. That was really, really sneaky. In the meantime, he expands down in this bottom right and down here too, double expanding. The vultures try to come in looking for a big group of probes to kill, but there aren't any, unfortunately, for these guys, and they're going to get wiped out. That said, the damage done on warping and buildings, I said, is pretty nuts. They're going to take all the shields off this Nexus. That makes it a pretty ripe target for further attacks. Although I don't really... I mean, this is pretty protected. If you're going to show up with an army that's going to take that thing down, you're going to have to get through those cannons, get through these Dragoons. Top right-hand base is trying to be, cleaned out there by Sharp. He does manage to get it. If he can hold on to these two bases and kind of split the map in half here, it's going to be an okay time for him. Yeah, tank count is nuts all of a sudden, though. Yeah, I want to say there are probably 25 tanks here. Which, again, if he hadn't been killing tanks, this would be closer to 30, 35, possibly 40 tanks. Which is just not... You're not stopping that. If you have godlike stasises, which you can if you're Bisu, maybe. Good stasis there, 4 tanks down. Here's your engagement, though. Zealots on top of everything. Dragoons kind of sitting back. As long as the Zealots are alive, the Dragoons are going to stick around in this situation, but the Zealots are getting evaporated by Goliath and Vulture Fire. And they have to back out. But look how many tanks they killed. Remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 12 remaining. 12 tanks. Okay, these ones additionally. So maybe closer to 20 when all is said and done. But again, willing to sacrifice units to make sure the tank count remains low. A couple science vessels here, but that's going to be it for some time. I still don't see the science facility being... Oh, there it is. It is rebuilt, so he can if he wants to. Another great engagement here. Tanks up, EMPs going down from these science... Nice catch on that arbiter right there, too. That was a nice couple of stasis right there. And they're just going to march past these stasis tanks, wipe out this tank and this tank. There's something to be said for being a little too spread out against stasis here, and Sharp may have overspread there just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Bisu lost a lot. He's at 169 supply, down from 200. It's 159 for Sharp. He's also lost a ton. Gonna try to Zealot Bomb up on these guys. Oh, trying to... Oh, Spider Mine. Dropping Zealots onto Spider Mines to clear them into Vultures. That doesn't really work out, but I like the idea. That's a good effort out of Bisu. Alright, so small attempt to set up here and actually wipe out one of Bisu's bases for the first time today. These tanks really should be involved in something, but they're not for some reason. This Nexus might be in a bit of trouble. Tanks are setting up on this high ground. Great place to be. They got +3 attack and +2 armor. The Zealots are at +3 attack, but no armor themselves. And thankfully, these new gateways are providing reinforcements coming in both sides. We've got defensive matrix up on that tank. The Mass Arbiter is in the mix here, really clumped up. And I want to say, got to be careful not to get stasis there, but... Or EMP'd there, rather, but it doesn't really matter in the end. Science Vessel not quite able to do it at the time. And the Nexus ends up staying alive. All of the defensive structures here went down. Sharp continuing to push on in, but again, this could be closer to 10 or 15 tanks, and instead it's like 5. Yeah, I mean, this is just an absolute schooling from a Bisu here. He's just able to stasis as much as he wants. He's wiping out tanks in smaller groups. The Dragoons are able to stand because it's largely Vultures here. And there's only 3 tanks, 2 of which are sieged at the moment. Vultures trying to sneak in and kill as many probes as they can. But yeah, look at this. Jumping on top of another tank. Reinforcing tanks are coming in, but they're just coming in too slow right now. Sharp doesn't have the income for it. He's trying to take this top right-hand base as well as that natural expansion, but he's not quite there yet with it, especially for gas. Bisu is trying to set up and take this 3 o'clock, which would put him ahead pretty substantially economically. Tank has something to say about it, though, but not in the long run, unfortunately for him. He's also keeping an eye on this 9 o'clock expansion, knowing these 2 bases are pretty important when it comes down to a big macro-style game like this. 195 to 167 supply. Bisu has that lead in economy and in total supply that you want to see from him. He has fewer workers, but he has way more army if you do some basic math in the top right here. This is a free tank, and in a PvT, any free tank you can get is a good free tank. No such thing as a bad free tank, I don't think. And it's free because you don't lose anything by killing it. That's how that works. So Bisu's got his army split up in a couple different areas right now, trying to deal with a couple of smaller groups of Sharp's units. I don't think this is a great place to push in. He's, yeah, tanks are set up there. Going across bridges is really scary, but he wins the engagement on the left side extremely handily. Really, really well done there. And just absolutely, yeah, Sharp's trying to take down this group of Dragoons very, very, very quickly here, but can't quite do it. Great micro, great kiting here, staying out of tank range as well as he can, and trying to protect this base until the cannons can come up, and it looks like he's there. Arbiter sneaking around. I feel like we might have another attempt at a recall. And there it is. Recall coming in at the top right-hand side. Does take down a couple SCVs. Target firing some of those. Full evacuation of SCVs here. Getting top of the missile turrets. Can they take down that command center? That'd be massive. Trying to sneak on in and EMP something as our science vessel. It doesn't have the energy for it, though. This one does. But that's a bit like closing the barn door after the horse in that situation. So he just completely shut down this top right-hand base that Sharp was kind of counting on for income right there. Oh, SCV's coming back to work. What a blunder. No, 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 Sharp. Can't be doing that. Cannot be sending SCVs back into an active war zone there. Look at this map, though. Look at how split it is across the middle. The fact that Bisu has this 3 o'clock and he denied the top right is big for him. It's really humongous for him right now. Dragoons are just controlling the middle of the map. There's just enough of them, and they have 1/1 armor upgrades. Shields and armor being the 1/1 there. +3 attack's been done for some time. The tanks are all at 3/2, working on that third armor. Dragoons actually coming down this ramp. Look how cheeky that is. It's like, hey, this is my base. You get off my front lawn, you kids. You little guys there. And Bisu's actually pushing towards the main base of Sharp, which is honestly not something you see a lot in StarCraft 2 late games. Usually you want to attack into the new sources of income for your opponent and starve them out. But in this case, no. Bisu attacking right on in. Again, losing some Dragoons, but giving as good as he gets here. Nice stasis on the ramp. Oh, another... Oh, more stasis on the ramp. Nobody's getting up that thing. Bisu. What a Gosu maneuver there. Reinforcing units are stuck behind a wall of their own units. Trying to take down this command center. Can they do it is the question. SCVs maybe try to repair it. Nice EMP toss down on those Arbiters. Taking down the armories. I think after the upgrades are already done, though. Yeah, 3/3 is done, so armory usefulness, meh. At this stage. We're not going for air armor, that's for sure. Nicely done. Does take down a base. It's not one of the newer bases there. But Bisu making his point. I still can't believe he's holding this. I am really shocked that Sharp hasn't just sent like 4 or 5 tanks up this way. What's that Arbiter trying? Oh, nice. Oh, you recalled them out. Defensive Matrix is up here, but it's not going to last forever, as it turns out. Going after SCVs, the worker count not as healthy as it used to be. Only going to see 67 of them from Sharp right now. Vulture's trying to respond to this. That's not enough versus this many. +3, +2, +2 Dragoons. Heck no. That's a 10-kill Dragoon there. 7 and 9 kills. These are elite commando Dragoons deep behind enemy lines, trying to kill whatever Terran units they can, and they finally get wiped out, but they've definitely done their duty to ire today. Another attack coming in. Missile turrets, Goliaths doing their job against the Arbiters pretty effectively here. Zealots running into Spider-Mind fire, running into Vulture fire as they do. Is this enough Protoss to get through here? That would be my question here. Again, 1 tank. That is how many tanks we're dealing with over here in the natural base. Dragoons are so happy to see 1 tank. Additional tanks are coming over. The Arbiters are trying to provide what cover they can here, but we're making 7 Dragoons and 5 Zealots at a time back home. Zealots just absolutely doing everything they can against these tanks, making sure the tank count is kept low. And again, reinforcing tanks, walking out of the main base, having immediately to deal with a whole bunch of Dragoons, which finally do get wiped out. But it's 190 to 137 supply. This top right-hand base has finally been taken. Arbiter trying to sneak on in here. 9 o'clock base has been taken by Bisu. In the meantime, that 3 o'clock base is happily running. Oh no, Vultures got in before the cannons were ready to go. They are going to snipe some of these probes. The Zealots with speed are going to try to stop them from doing this. To some extent, I guess. They might actually give up in their chase because we're going for it. Bisu is again just absolutely chomping right down the throat of Sharp right here. Coming into his homeland. Coming into where his production is. Coming into where the defender's advantage is real. It's not a ton of army here either, but he's up 192 to 110 supply overall. The trail of yellow continuing to flood up this way is just too much. Factory going to get focused down. There's a couple siege tanks here, but 2 siege tanks versus all of this Protoss. No. No, sir, Sharp. You are not going to win this game. This is absolutely Bisu exerting dominance over the Terran players, showing Protoss players everywhere how it is done. And that is your good game from Sharp. He taps out. And Bisu is your winner in 29 minutes and 34 seconds. Oh, hit that like button if you enjoyed that one, Bisu fans. I know you did. I can feel it. I can feel it emanating from the future when you're going to watch this. I don't even... What a match. It's just a bloodbath. It was so many dead units on both sides. But Bisu, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bases. 10 basing Bisu. And Sharp only ever got up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe 6. We'll give him 6 bases. But 10 bases to 6 bases? Yeah. Bisu's going to win that, economically. He had better upgrades across the board. 3-2-2 is better than 3-3. I mean, Protoss has more upgrades to use, so maybe that's not a fair metric. But, yeah, the Arbiters are beautiful. Sometimes they got EMP'd, but the Stasises were good. It kept that tank count low. It was never, at any one time, 30 tanks in one location. It just wasn't. Sharp didn't do the best at trying to keep his tanks in one location, so they're all very scary. He was probably worried about stasis, and rightfully so. But better Terran players like Flash would have been able to do a better job of actually getting the tanks into a location where they're threatening, but they're not all clumped up. It's a very, very fine science. It's tricky. Sharp went for it, but couldn't quite accomplish it here today. Whew! All right. Well, let's go ahead and check out the final score before we go here, because sometimes I forget that, and then people get mad. But let's go. 287,000 points for Bisu, 251,000 for Sharp. Ends up producing 874 Protoss units, losing 600 of them, but killing 400 himself. The numbers add up. Structures raised, 32 raised by Bisu to a mere 8 by Sharp. I wish we could see workers killed, because I feel like Sharp did a pretty good job with that when all is said and done. And then resources here, just 4,000 gas more mined by Bisu. We had a total of, 13,000 more minerals mined and 14,000 more spent overall. That's the extra bases. That's what Bisu did. That's how you have to beat a Terran. He saw the blueprint in his mind and executed it. So good. So good. All right. Well, that's going to be it for me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.